Well, this is January 2016. About a couple of inches of snow, roughly. Beautiful silent day. It's always silent when there's snow. It sort of suppresses any noises, and I suppose the vibration goes into the snowflakes and the crystals. Nice thing about it all, you can follow bird tracks and all animal tracks in the wood. When we used to do nature things at school, we was always taught, when it snows, have a look in the woods and the fields and look at all the tracks and have a guess what birds they were and what animals. My little church there, covered in snow. Even my JCB in the garden, covered in snow. My pond here, iced up. And my castles. You can just about detect amongst the snow here. Wonderful, miracle of life, all this. To my little bird box. Real pictured postcard look. And then there's the 16th century pub, the Oak. What was 3 homes in its time for 50 years. Real wonderland with snow. Ah, 2 herons just gone over. Dare say they're hungry. Look at the colours amongst the whites there, look. Unanimous variegator, meaning variegated colours amongst the greenery here. Hampstead House was built in 1860s by ironmongers from London called the Potters originally. Lovely cedar there. This is Cobb Lane here. Originally it was all cob nuts all along this lane, and then hence the name of Cobb Lane. But on the left here it was all cut down every so many years to reproduce. All cultivated. You can hear the water whooshing out the bank here where it's melting, and the amount of water we've had. A lot of places have been dried for months and months, and all of a sudden a lot of the waterways are reopening and finding their paths again. Very few venture out from out the outskirts of Ardingly, anywhere the wreck is, because they're very urbanised. A lot of persons that's come here to live, so therefore the venture further than they can see is as far as their way of life in the new age of villagers now. So it leaves a lot and peace for me to enjoy with no interference of modern life, what's intrusive to country people to a point. Beautiful and peaceful. Obviously it muffles the sound with snow on the ground, gradually melting very quickly now. But like I say, originally there was a lot of cob nuts, what's in the hazel family. And that's they used to coppice them for bean sticks, pea sticks, and let them grow again 5 years or so, and then they produce good nut. Otherwise, they're like this hazel, what goes back probably 60 years. They get woody and they don't produce so much nut what you can reach comfortably. But this hazel's in the same family. That would have been cut down every 7 or 8 years to let it regenerate, what they call coppicing. But like all the woods now, them days have gone. You haven't got people on the land like it used to be. Everything's changed, the whole ecology of country life. You can probably see the deer through there. They're fallow deer. There was about 15 of them. There's another dozen there at least. And there's white deer as well. There's a nice white one, look, like an albino. Another white one, look. There's at least 20, I reckon, out there. Ah, last year's youngsters, this lot. What a bonus this morning. Yeah, they're last year's fallow. Should see this white one come through. I'll keep in still as possible. There's a white one, look. There. Two white ones. I say they're last year's youngsters. Oops. I'm having to guess there's probably well over 30 turned up then. You can see the tracks here where they obviously regularly use, and most animals use the same track. Everything, foxes, all the different sorts of deer. That's usually a very safe crossing, so they use the one time over the year of the same crossing here where it's safe. This is Horncombe, old house, goes back several hundred years, probably 300 years plus. But there we are, that's quite rewarding to see all them deer crossing. They were last year's youngsters. This is the other side of Cobb Lane here. There's a homely thought with a lovely fire burning, log fire, and that goes back several hundred years, Horncombe. I used to play down there as a youngster at a lovely well. Where's warmth, there's happiness. Lovely traditional cottage with an open fire, make toast. Lovely setting down here, out the way. One thing about money, you can afford to buy something well out the way of the hustle and bustle of the modern life. Beautiful. That's the only consolation, having a lot of money, to buy somewhere beautiful, secluded, nestled in the Sussex countryside. What's gradually been eaten up by the hassle and professionalism, taking tradition away. What obviously it could never come back. This is just a stroll around Cobb Lane, out to Pickeridge where I used to play when I was 10 years old. Lovely time, the winter, peaceful. And you've got the countryside to yourself, because most people are fair weather people today. As all the rains and that subsided now, and the water is saturated in the ground, it won't take no more. It follows the lowest path. This cherry here is around 90 years old, and it's starting to degrade a bit now in time. It's coming to the end of its life. But 80 or 90 for a wild cherry is about right. Huge cherry, and you see all the breaking down of the branches. Now if this lane could tell you some stories, it'd be wonderful. Of the peace and the love of walking and the love of surroundings. Different way of life 40, 50 years ago, and everybody loved where they lived and loved of the contentment where they lived, the inner peace. What is the secret of life? But the demands on money now are greater than the peace of life and the whole existence of modern life now. But you can feel the peace, and everybody went for walks because they loved where they lived, not because it was an exercise. Christmas tree. This is Pickeridge, where I used to play 51 years ago, if not a little bit more. And the Parks family used to own the farm then, Scottish couple. They used to make me pancakes on the Rayburn. There used to be chicken all over the place in the kitchen. Rough and ready, but you had a homely niceness and a welcome. Down to earth, I call it. That's the field the deer were coming out of. I roughly think there was well over 30 in all. And another 25 went across into the woods down below Cobb Lane, so probably 50 deer in all. Might even been more. Hard to tell. But there were a few. That's old Pickeridge House where I used to go over 51 years ago for pancakes. All done up completely to its former glory. Very wealthy live here now. That's Highbrook Church over there. Highbrook Church built for the Clarks 1880s. The hamlet of Highbrook there, where I used to go beating all through here when I was 15. Look at the mist coming out of that wood where it's condensation, where the heat obviously is rising, and make condensation for the cold air, look. Wonderful, really. Absolutely wonderful. Eerie, but wonderful and unique. We are so lucky to have these surroundings and notice all these things. Seen a few people learn to walk today. Good to see a few. Miracle of life, isn't it? I know the far background was my sledging times and my father and his ancestors before that, and of course the river they used to land in. And my dad was on a sledge, 6-man